Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Lunch Table. I am your host, Ben Houselog, a.k.a. Ben Like Sports, a.k.a. Tank Dell. I need 15 points from you in fantasy. Please come through. I really want to make the playoffs. And we just had a Sunday slate for the ages. We had a blocked field goal for a win. We had quarterbacks scrambling to give their team a win. And we just had a shootout between 2020 quarterbacks on Sunday Night Football that had the whole world buzzing. All of that coming up right now on the Lunch Table. Shannon Sharp, take it away.
Yams, collard greens, mac and cheese.
We start in Miami, where the Dolphins handled the Raiders 34-19. And look, everyone kind of knew it was coming, but you never know with the Dolphins, right? They started off really slow. Obviously, Tua got hurt. But last week, they beat the Rams, and everyone said, hang on. This kind of looks like Miami of years past. Don't forget, just a year ago, this team scored 70. And they have all their key players returning on offense. And the thing is, their offense starting to look good. Their defense is starting to look good. I understand it's the Raiders, but they did what you are supposed to do. They handled a bad team. If you remember a couple weeks ago, the Bills and the Cardinals, the Dolphins lost those close games. They couldn't get it done. But now, they're winning close games, and they're winning games they're supposed to win. That is the difference between February coming around, or January, February, the playoff push, the playoffs, and you're either A, making a mock draft, or B, watching your team in the playoffs. You don't want to be making a mock draft. You don't want to be doing that. It's painful. I've been there. Not a lot because I'm a Packers fan, but I've been there. It's not fun. But the Dolphins took care of the Raiders. The Raiders, it's mock draft season. I'm sorry to say, but it is indeed mock draft season. Moving on, we had the Saints taking care of the Browns 35-14. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is still good for a 70-yard touchdown a game. Somehow. A lot of people I knew, but my dad, who's a Packers fan, I didn't even know MVS was on the Saints. I was like, dude, neither did half the world. But he's been one of the most efficient receivers in the NFL in the past 2 weeks. Good for him. Also, Taysom Hill, 3-touchdown game. I will say, if you have Taysom Hill in fantasy and you put him at a tight end slot, you deserve to be tarred and feathered. You genuinely deserve to be stoned if you have Taysom Hill at a tight end slot in fantasy. And if that would have happened in my league, I would have hunted that person down. And I would have taken back their buy-in. I would have been like, this is mine now. But the Saints, what did I say? Rizzy comes in. I understand not the greatest strength of schedule those past 2 weeks, but they're excited. They rally around Rizzy. Maybe he clogged the toilet this morning. Maybe that's the pregame ritual for him. Eat a bunch of cornflakes. Stay away from prunes. Heck, eat a couple gas station donuts. Let it rip. Clog the toilet. Let everyone know that you're the alpha male in the room. And there you go. It's like when you're hunting a bear. And you see a big bear turd, you're like, okay, hey, we got a big bear out here. We can go get one. That's what Rizzy's doing. He's going back to the primal age. He's a primal guy. And the Saints, they're 2-0 in their last two. Everyone kind of wrote them off. I did. And I still don't think they're a playoff team. But hey, there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to be excited about. Jameis Winston had a decent enough game. Threw for a ton of yards. The Browns, they're the Browns. I'm sorry. If you're a Browns fan, I'm sorry. And now we are starting to get into the massive games. Moving on, we had the Colts beating the Jets 28-27. Anthony Richardson had the best game of his career. Threw for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, and ran for 2 more touchdowns. And here's the thing. This is why I supported Joe Flacco. You can listen to a couple episodes back. Couple weeks back, I said Joe Flacco getting in front of Anthony Richardson is the perfect thing because you get to see what Anthony Richardson is made of. And what did he do? He responded so much better than a lot of people in the league do. Usually, you see it every single week. A player doesn't get the reps that they want. A player doesn't get the touches that they need. And they go to social media, they complain. They become a cancer to the locker room, and it ends up terminating everything. All the promise a player had, everything, that's out the window. Anthony Richardson did the opposite. He said it's gut check time. 5:30, he would go in with the O-line coach, protections. He dug deep. If you guys remember, he was very, very good on deep throws. Every other throw short than that, he was terrible. Today, he was surgical. He played phenomenal. And I understand the Jets' defense isn't as good as we thought they were going to be, but they're still a good enough defense. So Anthony Richardson dug deep and had a game-winning drive. And I don't want to be that guy that's like, I told you so. But that's sometimes what you need to do. You need to let Anthony Richardson know, look, it's time to get going now. And that's what he did. This is all the Colts wanted to see. A lot of people were questioning the Colts. I think they did the perfect thing. Sure, you lost a couple games with Flacco, but one, Richardson got healthy, and two, he grew up. And it looked like he grew up fast. He looks so much different out there, man. He looks so much different. He looks so good out there. I'm salivating a little bit, but he looks so good. It's not often you see a young guy get kind of embarrassed like that in front of the whole world and respond as well as Richardson did. But that's what he did. He responded. And now you know what kind of a guy you have in Richardson. You knew the physical traits. You knew the types of things he could do on the football field. But the mental was still kind of there because he hadn't played as many games. But when he got benched, he learned. And after he learned, guess what? He came out, and it's the playoff push. Houston lost last week. Colts get on a win streak. They can still win the AFC South. It's just them and the Texans, but they can still win the AFC South. Huge props to Anthony Richardson. Did it without Michael Pittman. He doesn't have the greatest weapons in the world around him. He doesn't have the greatest defense with him. But what does he have? He has that dog in him. That's all you need. A couple weeks ago, what happened? He was in the goal line. He tapped out. What happened this week? He was in the goal line. He stayed in. He trucked two guys and won them the game. That's growth. That is rapid growth. And that's huge, man. Gosh, that's huge. I did say the Jets were going to win. Jets, I'm sorry. Done. It's over. I would say don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened, but ain't nothing to smile about, man. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have it anymore, which sucks. It's like when Jackson Storm passed Lightning McQueen. Man, great movies. Cars movies are fantastic. But the Colts, big time win against the Jets. Moving on. You had the Vikings at the Titans. And yes, I did pick the Vikings. But look, man. They need to kind of figure it out as far as Sam Darnold goes. Because he's starting to regress a little bit. Now, I'm not saying he's awful. But it's looking like the Vikings are starting to play with fire. It reminds me a lot of 2022. They started off really hot. And then down the stretch, it started getting a little iffy. It started becoming, can the Vikings pull this one out? The Titans, they're honestly like the perfect opinion of a mid team. They're good. Like, I think they're just mid. They're They're like the old reliable, man. They're like when you go into the pantry and you're hungry and there's saltine crackers. Like, sure, I'll eat saltine crackers, but like, I'm not going to be excited about it. I'm not going to be out here hooting and hollering for saltines, but I'll do it. You know, it's mid. They're mid, but the Vikings, they're lucky that Sam Darnold is having this phase in the middle of the easy schedule with the Jags and the Titans. But now, down the back half of the season, it's going to be the NFC North Gauntlet. And a gauntlet it is. Because, moving on to our next game, the Packers beat the Bears 20-19. And I know I have Bears fans that listen to this. I'm not going to be that guy that's gloating, going, oh my gosh, you guys stink. Because you guys don't stink. You guys could very easily be, was it not 7-2, but you could easily be 7-3. Genuinely. That's how close the margins are. What I saw from the Bears today was impressive. But what did I also see? I saw a head coach get complacent. I don't know when we started getting complacent and like, okay, we're in field goal range. Shoot, hey, don't hand him off the ball. He might fumble. Well, you know what else could happen? Yeah, sure, your running back might fumble, but you might kick a 46-yard field goal that gets blocked. What are we doing here? Why are we playing the analytics game? Like, oh, the analytics say if we knee the ball here, then that's the perfect angle and the perfect girth and width and wind archetype to put it through the upright. No. Whatever happened to just taking control of the game? Like the Packers, man. I thought they were going to lose. I genuinely had that bar on the top of my phone that said slide to turn off. I was looking at it. I was like, I've talked so much trash to Bears fans. It's crazy. I'm taking a sip of my water. But we need to have people realize, stop being cowards in the NFL. Stop trying to bleed the clock and just, by the skin of your teeth, win the game. Take control and win the dang game. They wasted. Caleb's most impressive game was today, in my opinion. Sure, he threw a lot of screens, right? But what happened? Chips were down. He needed to lead a drive. He did. You guys failed him. The Bears are actively failing Caleb Williams. Yes, I'm a Packers fan. Oh, bro, why are you talking about the Bears? Because I'm seeing what I see. And what I see is you just had a rookie quarterback after everyone ragged on him after his offensive coordinator was fired. People are pinning it on him with the first time ever OC against a Packers team that everyone thought was going to blow them out. Do enough to win. He did enough to win. He didn't turn the ball over, and he moved the ball down the field. And they failed him. This loss is not on Caleb Williams. This loss is not on the offense. The loss is not on the defense. The loss is on coaching. Eberflus, I don't understand how many times the Bears are going to lose close games due to a lack of aggression and trying to barely squeak one out. It's pathetic. How many times have we seen it in the NFL? You don't go for two if you go to overtime. You go to overtime, you lose. You don't go for it on a fourth down. They come back, they beat you. You go for it on a fourth down with a horrible play call. They beat you. Start being aggressive in the NFL. Stop trying to be cute and demure. You like that? That's a good vocab word. Anyways, Packers blocked the field goal. As a Packers fan, do I feel good about it? I feel good about one thing. Yes, we won. Jordan Love, please stop throwing those interceptions. I can't keep doing it, man. Every single time I think we're about to get a touchdown, bro throws a two-handed chest pass to the defense. I'm like, dang, bro, really? Really? But the Packers, 20. Bears, 19. Moving on, we stay in the NFC North as the Lions played the Jaguars and beat them 52-6. 52-6. I knew it would be bad. I remember we were talking about it on Friday. I said this is going to be a Jared Goff bounce back game. And you can say that was a Jared Goff bounce back game. The Lions now have the commanding lead of the division. They didn't extend the lead, but it's like when you're going to, you're in a video game, right? And you're about to see a boss fight, but then you look over there and your friend tries a boss fight first, and you see your friend's body get thrown all over like a rag doll, and you're like, that's who I have next. That's what teams are seeing with the Lions. Teams are legitimately terrified. Anzalone broke his forearm. I'm hoping that's a cast-in-play situation, but you never know. But the Lions, dude, it's just, they're a wagon. They are a freight train heading down the tracks, and they are absolutely mowing people over. Moving on. Because I could talk about the Lions for a long time, but there's only so much you can say about 52-6, and that's BTA. That's what just got put on the Jaguars. BTA. I'm not talking Brian Thomas. I'm talking belt. Moving on. We have the Rams at the Patriots. And I said, we need to see Puka and Kupp play together well for the Rams to start kind of going after it. And they did. The Patriots, Drake May, he's your guy. Dude, there's an argument. There's no clear-cut quarterback one from this class. It looked like it was going to be Jaden Daniels. Okay. Then it looked like, hey, maybe Caleb Williams. Then it looked like, hey, maybe Drake May. Now you have Bo Nix. Michael Penix looked good today. We will get to that. But that's a lot of the stuff, man. The bounce back spot, it was a bounce back spot, man. And they took advantage of it, especially in the NFC West. The NFC West is an absolute war. 3 teams at 5-5. 1 team at, I believe, 6-4 or 5-4, and that is the Cardinals. Cardinals at the top of the NFC West. If you would have told me that in mid-November, Cardinals would be number 1, I would have been like, yeah, I probably see it because I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. But this is a war. Speaking about a war, we go into an AFC North matchup between the Ravens and the Steelers, in which the Steelers won 18-16. Ugly, ugly game. I actually have revoked my Ravens being the best team in the NFL after this game. Because once again, you put your game in the hands of the kicker. Justin Tucker is a kicker that I would love to put my game in the hands of. However, today was not his day. It was not his day. He missed very key field goals. The Steelers had 18. You might think, oh my gosh, what? 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion and a field goal? No, they didn't score a single touchdown. They beat the Ravens. Yeah, the team that was just mowing over everybody just got beat without scoring a touchdown. Lamar looked good in the MVP race. He still might be the lead, but in my opinion, the MVP race was just lost. The lead, at least. It is now Josh Allen's. Because you had a bad loss coupled with Josh Allen having a big win. Tough. That's tough. I took off my glasses. Now my screen is literally all blurry, but my glasses are getting foggy, so I got to lock in. I'm locking in now. Moving on. You had the Seahawks beating the 49ers 20-17. I thought it was going to be the Niners. I was wrong. Hand up. That's on me. Massive NFC West matchup. Last time they played, Thursday Night Football, it was ugly. 49ers kind of put the belt to the Seahawks. Taking a sip of my water. But the 49ers now, they look rough, and I don't blame them. That's a lot of injuries, man. It's a lot of injuries to your defense, to your offense. And now, Nick Bosa's injured. Honestly, the Niners are lucky to be 5-5 right now. Right now, I genuinely think they are the worst team in the NFC West because everybody's injured on their team or banged up. And now, how long is Bosa going to be out? Because it's not like the 49ers have a fantastic end-of-season schedule. They come into Lambeau, or Lambeau comes to them. I don't even know where it's at. But you got another round of NFC West games. That doesn't look promising. You have a kicker who's pretty inconsistent. That's not promising. Your star tight end battling injuries. CMC looks good, but you never know with him. There's a very real chance that the 49ers might miss the playoffs. Juwan Jennings is balling. Deebo Samuel, here and there. But the thing is, man, this is a worrisome loss. You only scored 17 on the Seahawks, and on top of that, Geno Smith led a phenomenal 2-minute drive, which ended with Geno Smith running in a touchdown to win the game. I cannot get a hold on the Seahawks. Are they a good team or are they not? Every other week, they look completely different than they did the week before. You'll have a week where they put up 40. You're like, oh my gosh, the Seahawks are here. Then they'll lose embarrassingly. Who knows? Maybe their injuries are finally stabilizing in a way that they don't have 7 key guys out every single week, and it's kind of just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who's not going to play no mo for the Seahawks? I just like to see them win. They just find ways to win. JSN, dog. DK Metcalf, dog. Kenneth Walker, dog. Also, they had a 4th down, right? Actually, it was 2nd and 1. And they tried to sneak it with Geno Smith, and then they tried to run with Zach Charbonnet. Why are you not giving Kenneth Walker the ball? Your bell cow? Your best offensive player? Either him or DK? What are we doing here? We're getting so cute in the NFL. Like, oh my gosh, look at this. I'm going to do 17 laterals, do a backflip, and then take a picture with Taylor Swift. What are we doing, man? Put your head down and run the ball. Why are we overcomplicating things? Sure, there are times to overcomplicate it. For sure. If you're in a game against a very good team, like say that you're going against the Eagles, and you have me at running back, right? You ain't gonna run me on a halfback dive, but what you might do is fake the halfback dive and toss it, something like that. Teams are starting to get way too cute. You have Kenneth Walker, literally right before that, you were on the goal line, and you got the yard for the touchdown. You see it come right back around to that same exact situation, and you don't give it back to Kenneth Walker. Seahawks deserve to lose that game, but the 49ers just deserve to lose it more. That sounds a little callous, but it's the truth. Moving on, you had the Falcons at the Broncos. We said the Broncos are a good team. And Bo Nix, boy oh boy, he looked good. He looked good. The Falcons, we knew Kirk Cousins was coming in banged up. I'm going to have a hot take here. I think you need to start pondering putting Penix in. Kirk Cousins looks almost unplayable, which sucks. He's a great guy. The last thing I'm trying to do on this podcast is try to make a player feel bad or go after a player. I'm just saying what I see. Right? We all have different opinions. Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has them and they all stink. I'm talking about my butthole on the internet, aka my opinion. The Broncos were looking for that statement win. I feel like this is a statement win for the Broncos. A team that was top of their division, coming into your house a week after you lost in a very tough way in a divisional game, and you manhandle them. That's exactly what it was. Your rookie quarterback is getting better and better each week. Your defense is still phenomenal. But when Penix came in for the Falcons, he looked good. I'll stand by what I said. He had the most pro-ready arm in the entire draft class. They need to turn to Penix right now, I think. Let him struggle a little bit because you're still up a couple games on the Buccaneers. But Mike Evans is coming back. And having Baker Mayfield chasing me down is not something I would like. That Buccaneers team, mind you, they're only a couple coin tosses away from leading the division. Only a couple coin tosses. I think you need to go to Penix. But the Broncos, they look legit, man. They look very legit. Moving on. You had the Chiefs versus the Bills. Actually, the Chiefs went to the Bills. Harrison Butker was out. I said it could prove to be a bad thing. Didn't really matter. We said that the Bills could cement themselves as a top team in the AFC because they lost the Ravens last time they played a top dog, and they cemented themselves. They look good. They didn't even have two of their best weapons. They still went out there and won. The Chiefs, look, okay, you lost. You're in a fantastic spot. Just keep it rolling. You are in a fantastic spot. It's not that big of a loss. Can the Bills keep it rolling? That's what we were saying. They can. Josh Allen is the MVP of the league right now. Because he just handled the Chiefs. It came down to it. He ran in the touchdown, man. You can't ask for much more. He quite literally put the team on his back. James Cook and the Bills defense, they did well as well. Mahomes, he looks like Mahomes, but then sometimes he looks human. I'm not used to Mahomes looking like a human. One thing I will say, Xavier Worthy is probably one of the most enraging guys to watch play, not because he's bad, but because he still plays in the NFL like it's college football. He has no urgency to get the second foot down, which obviously he knows that. I'm not trying to rag on him, but there was a play. Would have been like 35-yard gain. Honestly, probably would have changed the tide of the game because after that, it was never the same. He just didn't get 2 feet down. Easily could have. Easily could have gotten 2 feet down, but he didn't. That's tough. It's very tough. But the Bills, 30, Chiefs, 21. Finally, the Chiefs got knocked off. It is about time. Chiefs fans, I'm sorry. I cannot stand teams that don't lose. Even when my own team's winning a lot, I'm like, dude, I think we need a couple losses. Maybe this is what the Chiefs needed. Now, if you lose to Bryce Young next week, I might have an agenda to push here. You guys know how I like pushing my agendas. Moving on. Sunday Night Football was one for the ages. You had the Bengals going into the Chargers. I would like to say that the Chargers have a good home atmosphere. They don't. It was a home game for the Bengals. Just know if you ever see the Chargers on your schedule, you have an extra home game. That's just the truth of the matter. They don't have any fans. They moved them out of San Diego for money. Horrible decision. Horrible decision. But the Chargers, they got cooking early. Quentin Johnston, Will Dissly, Herbert looked like Herbert, the Herbert we all know and love. They were letting him throw it a little bit, right? They do a lot of play action stuff. It's very cool. At one point, they were up 21 points with 5 minutes, 30 seconds left in the third quarter over the Bengals. It was looking like, okay, yeah, Chargers got this one. And then Joe Burrow started cooking. 21 straight unanswered. Touchdown to Jamar. Touchdown to T. Higgins. Touchdown to Jamar. Joe Burrow had 350 yards and 3 touchdowns tonight. Jamar had 2 touchdowns. But they left it in the hands of the kicker. Zach Taylor is probably going to be fired this week. If I was the GM, I'm firing him. The amount of failure that has been put into the Bengals organization around Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is not as bad as the Lions were with Stafford and Johnson. Same kind of, feeling in a way. Obviously, their fringe playoff team almost make it. A lot of injuries. But it's still kind of the same. Now, I'm not comparing anybody to Stafford and Megatron. Let's be real here. I'm not doing that. But you have the number 1 passing quarterback in the league this year. Statistically, it is Joe Burrow. And the number 1 receiver in the league this year, which is statistically film analyzing advanced stats, Jamar Chase. And you are going to miss playoffs. You have like 800 yards passing and 7 touchdowns the past 2 games for Joe Burrow combined. 5 touchdowns the past 2 games for Jamar Chase. You lost both games. At some point, there was actually a 4th and 2 early in the game. They decided to kick a field goal. Okay. They missed 2 field goals tonight. At some point, you have to look at your players. Know that your defense cannot stop a nosebleed. Because they can't. Everybody's known this the whole entire season. It's been an issue for the Bengals. But they're just like, hey, maybe something's going to change. Yeah, Trey Hendrickson's good. Other than that, it doesn't look good. Well, we played the Chiefs close. Yeah, who cares? Instead of letting your first overall pick quarterback, all-pro quarterback, and your number 1 receiver in the league receiver end the game for you, you rely on a defense that has been remarkably inconsistent. You deserve to lose. The Bengals deserve to lose. But for the Chargers, everyone thought it was going to be the same old Chargers. You're up 21. They start coming back. Yep, same old Chargers. Going to blow another lead. Oh, well, maybe next year. Chargers put their foot down. That's a Harbaugh coach team. I thought it was going to be Raheem Morris getting coach of the year. By far and away. By far and away, it's going to be Jim Harbaugh. He just has these guys playing hard. They just play hard. J.K. Dobbins, back-to-back season-ending injuries. Back-to-back. Everyone knows when running backs get injured, they're off the market. Who cares about running backs anymore? Jim Harbaugh said, J.K., we got room for you here. Balling out. Herbert, everyone said that, he can't really do much. He's a hypothetical quarterback. A lot of ifs around him. They traded away Keenan Allen. And even when I saw Keenan Allen got traded away, I was like, what's happening? Quentin Johnston, career revival. Will Dissly, how do you do? Ladd McConkey, welcome. And they find ways to win. They're not sexy. They're not a team that's going to put up 90 points. But they're a team that when it gets gritty, down and dirty, they find a way to win. Everywhere Harbaugh goes, that's what happens. And he's doing it with the Chargers. And honestly, I think they now have a 90% chance to make the playoffs. Good for them. Good for them. I hated him when he was at Michigan because I don't like Michigan, but I will always root for Jim Harbaugh. Now, moving on to the Monday night preview. Kind of a bad game. We have the Battle of Texas, everybody. The Texans and the Cowboys. Look, Jerry, just play Trey Lance. I don't want to watch Cooper Rush drop back and throw passes. It's kind of icky to me, Nico Collins is coming back. Which, please, dude, Tank Dell. I am down 14 points in fantasy right now. Because I had Jamison Williams on my bench for Zay Flowers. Bad deal. I need 14 points from Tank Dell, and I make the playoffs after starting 1-4 in fantasy. Otherworldly Cinderella run. We need it. As for the Monday night preview, this is just one of those games that you look at and you're like, at least we have football on TV. That's what it looks like. It's going to be one of those games that you'd be killing for in June when there's not a lot of sports on. You're just like, man, I wonder what's going on. I wonder what's going on in the football world. You got a couple rookie mini camps. Like, I would love to see Cooper Rush and CJ Stroud go head-to-head on Monday Night Football. I will say, Texans better win this one because Colts are brewing up a storm. But other than that, I got the Texans, by the way. It is 12 a.m. Monday. Posting this for your guys' early drive. Thank you guys for all their support recently. Recently crossed 70,000 on Instagram, 9,000 on the YouTube. It's been going really well, so I appreciate you guys for that. I am dead tired, so I'm not going to keep you guys here for much longer. Like I said, we are a concise and compact show for your listening or viewing pleasure. We are now on YouTube as well. So have a great day or night whenever you are listening/watching this. God bless, and Jesus loves you. Peace.